Hello, this is episode 20 of the Boxed In podcast. I had been away for a little while, doing some traveling in June, so we have our schedule's been a little bit intermittent. Trevor's out for today. He's got some fatherly duties, but it was just Father's Day last weekend, so we'll give him a pass on that. And today it's me and Daniel on the podcast. Daniel, our producer. First time I think we got a cam on him, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Makes it better because then I'm not
put a face to the.
Yeah, exactly. So now you know, and now you know who was talking all that shit last week. Last episode, that was him. Speaking of which, one of the topics last week I wanted to follow up on a little bit was yesterday was June 19th, a holiday, Juneteenth, which I had learned of for the first time on that episode with Trevor, sharing knowledge, and yeah, I had kind of felt dumb that I had not even ever known about this holiday. I kind of thought that is this ignorant white guy not knowing enough history.
Yes.
But and it's funny how we were just talking about how.
But everybody's ignorant.
But that's we're not learning about this in schools. And I have a friend who she posted on her Instagram stories. From time to time, she'll like. Kind of go over certain topics and kind of give her followers like a little bit of a lesson and whatnot. And yesterday being Juneteenth, she had talked a little bit about what it meant and people learning about it now, like, finally. And I'd messaged her saying like, yeah, I just heard about this like last week when my podcast host told me about it, and I kind of felt dumb about it, but what's interesting is that I think maybe a lot of people had. I guess we had started talking about a little bit how like this is something that you don't even learn in schools, and people are learning about it on Twitter more now than anything. Which a lot of things. Which Twitter can be a nasty, dirty cesspool of horrible garbage and wasting time. But you could also learn a lot of. I mean, Twitter can be pretty valuable too. I mean, I've learned a lot from the platform. I've also, wasted a lot of time and been in some I don't know.
I think, but I think you're not the only one though, so I wouldn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
I don't think white guilt is deserved on
No,
this one.
No, not white guilt. Not this time.
Because most people don't know what it is. Like yesterday was
we'll save that for later.
Yesterday was African American night at Dodger Stadium. And I can guarantee you that people who went to that game weren't going to it.
Well, there's not a lot of African Americans that are playing in major leagues anymore. There's
probably
not a lot of African Americans. Back in the 70s and 80s, it was.
I know there's more Hispanics now.
Yeah,
but that's
still
not
a lot
my
of black
point.
athletes.
That's not my point, though.
Hispanic.
That's not my point.
Yeah.
Last night was African American Day.
Yeah,
it wasn't. But it wasn't. They didn't sell it as.
They didn't sell it well enough.
Juneteenth.
Oh,
celebrate Juneteenth.
Yeah, I see what you meant. Yeah,
as opposed to 4th of July fireworks.
Yeah.
Like when it's 4th of July. When it's.
I wonder if we'll see
it's branded as something.
Get branded and just publicized a little bit better over the next couple of years.
I don't think so.
Because
how many? Okay, and let me put it this way: how many Black History Months have you been through, and have you heard of it? None, obviously.
Well, it happens in
June
and Black History Month in February, so
you could still discuss it.
So maybe they should have a Black History Month in June.
It's about
would be more appropriate, perhaps.
The Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of. I'm just saying. I didn't learn about it till New Orleans when I went to this year. That's when I first heard about it. I don't think it's. People know about the event, people don't know about the day. But that also could just be, maybe that's a good thing that people don't know about it in some weird way. Because it hasn't been turned into Cinco de Mayo.
Turned into a corporate holiday?
That's all those are. That's the only reason why you know about those.
So like the way Cesar Chavez Day is more of a respectful holiday that is.
You also get that day off though.
But it's remembered by.
You don't get Juneteenth off.
You don't. But what I was going to make an analogy here is that Cesar Chavez Day is a day where you do remember the man and remember the labor movement and remember the struggle of immigrant farm workers and whatnot. Whereas Cinco de Mayo is completely a lost, forgotten.
People don't even know what Cinco de Mayo is.
They don't. Yeah. Anyway, as we covered on our last one, what that's all about, it's a boxing holiday. But
I do think I do think people could celebrate it though, like what you were saying, and
it would be good.
Turn it into a drinking day.
If done respectfully, I think that would be a great way to see it.
I don't even know what that means. Done respectfully.
Well,
I think it should be celebrated however you want. It's a celebration.
It should be a celebration, like a 4th of July.
You just need to tell the cops, the police force, hey, it's Juneteenth. We're gonna
break up barbecues.
We're gonna have way more black people partying than normal. Yeah. Calm down. Let's set the guns to tase instead of
the cops can't handle that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We got that's the national.
That's the bulletin. So, we got to let people know. Perhaps it's a safer that the holiday hasn't blown up yet as a big.
No, it should be. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not our community.
Right.
So you did your job now by trying to
learn.
And to try to look at me, I'm an ignorant person, by putting yourself out there on the podcast. Yeah. And what more? It's not your responsibility.
And that's what I love about podcasts and about, like we said, Twitter, is like you can learn these things that you never had the opportunity to before, and not only as a consumer of podcasts, but also taking part in them when you open conversations. Both you and Trevor have rotten, things I never knew about. So it's pretty neat.
Well, thank your friend for help spreading the word.
Yeah, of course I will. And I hope she listens to this episode.
This is when she turns it off, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. Okay, 10-4, bye. But anyway.
So last week, I think you start off with the most recent boxing event. I mean, you kind of talked about
Tyson
it in a
Fury
show.
Yeah.
But
so Tyson Fury, if you guys watched, I'm sure a lot of people did, because even if you didn't subscribe to ESPN Plus, you definitely did see Tyson Fury fight. In some effect, going back to what social media provides us, is that even if you don't, sign up for the fight, you end up seeing, you didn't miss much. It was a 2-round fight. He knocks him out in the second round. He puts on a show. He saw everything he needed to the next day on social media. He got up there. He sang. What was he singing?
He sang an Aerosmith song.
I don't want to
miss the thing.
My eyes. I don't want to. Yeah.
Which I didn't.
And he did a pretty darn good job.
I wasn't expecting him to know that whole song. But my question is, before you get into it, because you kind of already covered this bit on your show
on the Monday Morning. Monday Morning Cornerman.
Make sure you check that out.
Yeah, check out Monday Morning Cornerman. It's on the Boxing TLDR YouTube channel. We're no longer pushing out YouTube content on the Garrity and Producer channel. That was a mistake early on. We are all Boxing TLDR.
It's not a mistake. It's just the way things went.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, so Anthony Joshua responded to the fight.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying, good for Tyson, but the guy he fought was ranked, like 400? So...
Yeah, I take a look.
What does this really matter? Like, what is he really doing other than ESPN putting on this show to put their
absolutely? So ESPN does a huge deal. This is the first time I can remember in recent history where they have a huge signing event with a boxer from over the pond that already has a promotional deal with another promoter, and they're doing this co-promotion with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has a huge rise to popularity recently in America after an amazing fight with Deontay Wilder, in which fans across the U.S. have seen. It was a great night for boxing. Like, fans, got enlightened to who Deontay Wilder is, and they also got enlightened to who Tyson Fury is. Deontay Wilder is with Al Heyman, Bob Arum, and Top Rank see the opportunity to sign a big name in Tyson Fury, and this is the first fight in the ESPN era with Tyson. They put on a great show. They put on a great production. The production value was amazing, and much of that goes to the credit of Tyson Fury. They had also done good early cut promo. Kind of like how UFC does a fantastic job with their promo cuts that they do leading up to the fight. They put a lot of effort into that. They made a huge investment in this guy. The fight itself, it wasn't much. So Anthony Joshua makes a good point when he criticizes that.
Is he in a position to criticize though?
Yeah, not necessarily a position to criticize. Because what happens is, this is boxing. we see this over and over again. You have opponents that are there to play a part in the show, but these are all chess pieces until a later matchup. Is because when Bobby Arum signs Tyson Fury, he's not throwing him against a risk immediately. That's just not a smart way of doing it. That doesn't bother me. What annoys me a little bit is the amount to which they overhyped the phrasing of lineal champion.
The non-existent belt.
The non-existent belt. And for those of you who don't know what lineal champion means, you can find some of that explanation on boxingtldr.com. There have been explanations in the past on the newsletter. If not, essentially what it means is the man who's beaten the man. So it goes back to this idea where there was an undisputed champion, and it doesn't necessarily happen in every weight class in every point in time, but an undisputed champion at one point in time gets beaten by somebody. That man is now the undisputed champion, but also the lineal champion. What happened was he follows that lineage of the final true champion, the most recent true champion. Whereas in every weight class, that's not going to always happen. When he beat Vladimir Klitschko in 2015, I think, at that point in time, he had won all the belts. He had become the undisputed champion. He had become the lineal champion. He vacates. He goes away for a couple of years, gains 200 more pounds, 150 more pounds, whatever. He makes this fantastic comeback. It's a great story. Everyone loves it. It's an inspiring guy to watch. But, he vacates all of his belts. He is still the lineal champion technically, but we don't often see this happen in large layoffs. And I don't mind them using the phrase lineal champion. I like knowing that Tyson Fury was the last man to beat the man, and he was the last lineal champion. And it'll be great when these unify, because now we're in a position where I think we have a hot heavyweight division. We are going to eventually unify all these titles, and we'll have an undisputed. We just gotta we gotta wait a little bit until everyone fights everyone. But here's the part I don't like. I don't like that in like 2 minutes, Jimmy Lennon Jr., the graphics played on ESPN, the announcers in the background have already mentioned it 4 times in the last 2 minutes. That wouldn't bug me too much, but it just feels really cheap because we're fighting a guy named Tom Schwartz, 25 years old, absolutely unknown. And I'm not dissing you for fighting an unknown as you're building up back on a new deal, but I just don't like the amount to which we are cheapening the name of what is the lineal champion in a fight that isn't all that much.
Maybe.
But when we fight Wilder again,
they won't mention that.
No. Absolutely, because it will be.
No,
huge.
I'm saying it won't be the only thing they're talking
Well,
about.
they'll also be talking about the WBC belt, the green belt, right? And it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Actually, we do know today, as of this morning, we're recording on June 20th. I saw an article on the Independent, the UK newspaper. Although I haven't seen it elsewhere, so that makes me a little bit curious. But the rematch, which we all know that Andy Ruiz Jr. and back in that other discussion, so I don't want to get anyone lost. Those other belts, those other world champion belts, the 3 belts of the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. There's also that IBO belt that doesn't really matter because it's not one of the major 4. The major 4 being the WBC, that green belt, the IBF, that red belt, the WBO, and the WBA. Those are like black. Just if I'm not going to be able to describe to you the imagery other than that, but if you were to see them in a picture that Andy Ruiz is holding, you would know that. So Andy Ruiz beat Joshua, what was it, a little bit over a month ago? No, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
It was while I was in Mexico, so it hasn't even been a month. And that triggered a rematch clause, and that rematch, I have learned today, granted, that was accurate reporting, that'll be at Madison Square Garden once again, which I think is cool. I'm happy that Andy Ruiz has now become the A side. I want him to have it on his turf. It would be cooler if it was like Dallas, somewhere where it could be just overrun by a Mexican fan base. But I think MSG is special because that's where the first fight. Or Vegas. Obviously, Vegas would be amazing too.
Because the Mexicans would.
Yeah, and Vegas is the ultimate mecca of boxing. But I think MSG will be cool because, should Joshua win it back, he wins it back at the place.
Do you think he
will?
will?
You know what?
Right now.
Betting money. It's still betting money. It's smart money. It's still on Joshua. But I am going to go so hard for Ruiz because I think that Ruiz owns his mental real estate.
Can you check what the odds are? I'm sure Vegas is. If you were to bet though right now, you had to place a bet.
I would actually bet on Ruiz because I've never bet on boxing. I don't know how to gamble. I don't know.
You just put money on somebody?
I don't know how it works. I don't know how odds work. Vegas odds for Andy Ruiz.
Because I think it's hard. Here's the thing. Joshua didn't lose like via a fluke. It wasn't a one shot like, he got defeated.
Yeah.
He lost. And so the fact that he lost, regardless of what everyone, we didn't have a camp. And
doesn't matter. No, he did
lost.
have a camp.
He lost.
He was prepared.
He lost. Like, that's it. He lost. So going into a rematch, it's a genuine toss-up now. Because you, along with everybody else, was on Joshua's nuts saying he was just going to, all right, well, when he beats Ruiz and he fights da-da-da-da-da, I mean, that puts a brakes on everybody. Because...
Okay, so this came out on the Google's top search, so you got to take some of that credibility because it's Google's top search. It was on June 3rd. This article saying the most recent. I don't know how early Vegas does odds, but June 3rd. Actually, the article was that, but the article's on bjpenn.com, which I don't know why I didn't know he's doing this kind of stuff. But Ruiz plus 275. Anthony Joshua minus 350. So that means Joshua's still the favorite, but the margin is tightening.
It's smaller, yeah.
Yeah, tightening by a big factor. It was.
Because I think it was way more than that. It was like 3 times as big.
Yeah.
So it's a little more of like, okay, this is Joshua. He's the champion. No, he was the champion. He's quote unquote proven himself, and now here's this under. That's kind of what the odds are telling me.
Right. And mental advantage. Ruiz has the mental advantage. And we know he can fight. We saw.
Period. There's no argument.
And he
could take a punch too.
Yeah. And is the game plan going to change? Well, I think him and his team can come up with a game plan.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They can do the same thing. They could like.
So I'm going for Ruiz again, and I shouldn't say again, but
I want him to win. So because For me,
you want to see the world crumble. I agree with you.
Well,
let's fuck shit up. Let's
fighting Wilder or Fury is more interesting than seeing Joshua, especially after like Joshua's last performance. Because wasn't Joshua didn't his last fight wasn't that well either? Wasn't that good either?
Who did Joshua fight last?
Before Ruiz, like I remember you or Trevor mentioning that he was kind of. You're like it was like if I remember correctly. But it wasn't like a clean...
It had been kind of too long of a layoff because I remember he was one of the first...
But he's still young, though.
Yeah,
Joshua's still young.
He fought in September.
He's still
against
young.
Povetkin, yeah.
He's not...
He knocked him out, but...
He's not a veteran like... I don't feel like Fury or
Fury's not too old either. Fury's only 30.
Well, but...
He's gone through a lot.
He has more fights under his belt.
Right.
Definitely hasn't fought as much as Deontay.
But we do need to make sure that we don't overlook Deontay Wilder's next fight before we all see it.
Well, he's fighting Ortiz, right?
Yeah, actually, it hasn't been put on BoxRec yet, but
but Ortiz could.
But maybe they don't have a date
Ortiz
yet. He could
totally
screw up everything again.
It could be Ortiz versus Ruiz.
It could be a
fucking Hispanic. Mexico versus Cuba.
That'd be huge. I don't know if
that fight in Havana. Oh, we can't anymore.
No,
Trump.
you can't do that.
You have to put it in.
Also,
Vegas.
they're not gonna make any money, and they don't have they don't even internet in Cuba. How are they gonna have pay-per-view access? You know what I
I
mean?
don't know because it's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it would be cool. No, that fight would do well in
Dude, if those
Vegas
if those two end up fighting, for because
no one ever thought it'd be like because no, it's never Latinos.
Because if Deontay Wilder loses, if Deontay Wilder loses to Ortiz, no one's gonna give a shit about seeing Deontay versus Tyson Fury again. But I feel like there will be more interest in seeing that rematch as opposed to...
In a couple of years, it could happen, but it wouldn't be exciting right away.
Because you want to see fights and belts. You want to see champions. So then all of a sudden, fucking Hispanics would come.
But a lot of big things have to happen. Ruiz has to challenge, has to defend. Gonna be tough. I mean, it's tough for either of those guys.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be tough. I really don't.
No.
I don't think
it's gonna be a walk in the park, but I think he can do it. But I think
Ruiz is gonna finish him in the same amount of rounds that it took.
I would love that. But I'm just saying
it'll be less. That's my prediction.
Yeah. And then
what was it? 7th round?
It's 7th round, yeah.
But less. It'll be over before 6.
All right, well, place your bet. Let's see it.
That's my guess.
And then
Ortiz is the toss-up because he was winning. He was beating Deontay.
He shook him a bit. Yeah.
He was winning that fight, and then Deontay just sent him to the moon, which is all you got to do.
So that'll be November or December, I think. Have you ever been to MSG?
I've been by it. I've never been to an event at it.
Stopped at Penn Station and you.
No, I know where I've been to New York a few times. Actually, I was going to see
a Triple G. I was there for Triple G in Daniel Jacobs, and that's a special place. If
I was going to see Louis
if I get
CK
a chance
there.
to see AJ versus Ruiz 2 there, I can't imagine that. That's gonna be easy. And I don't even know if they sold out last time.
I don't even.
But this time they absolutely.
I told you I'm over fights.
Oh no!
Yeah. Going to that Canelo fight, just.
I'm
never gonna go to another boxing.
Let's
match
think about
again.
this, dude. I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I can get my heart broken, and I'll still be lifelong. I'm gonna
Football is way more, but okay.
I'm gonna be a lifer boxing fan.
Football is way more exciting.
You just got spoiled watching UFC, and you want more action, but you don't.
It's not even about that because no, it's not because here's why. Boxing, you have 30 minutes, right? Name me one other card in recent memory that had good fights other than the main card, like the main event in boxing.
It happens all the time. Sometimes the undercard's always more exciting. Like, I mean, it happens a lot.
No, I'm not saying. Hold on. Let me be more specific. I'm not saying that the fights don't end up being interesting. I'm saying when you look at a fight card where you're like, dude, I can't wait to see them fight, then the main event.
The last time that happened, it was like, I don't know, dude.
I can tell you the last time that I watched. Yeah, of course.
Like every time Katie Taylor fights on a DAZN card, that's exciting because you want to see that card, and she's never the main event. She hasn't been yet, and then, the
last time was Fury and Deontay Wilder because Luis Ortiz fought on the card.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And then I think dude with the big nose fought too.
Areola?
I think so. I think he was on that card. I think.
The dude.
But I'm saying, you don't have, boxing doesn't work like the UFC where they just throw
Chris
people
Areola, he was the Mexican hopeful before we ever had a chance with Andy Ruiz. But one of my favorite Chris Areola moments was he got up after he got to talking after the fight, and he was I think he was just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna go back home in the morning. I'm gonna have some menudo. I'm just gonna relax. It's like his version of his Gennady moment, his
post fight. I'm just saying, football is more entertaining. You're gonna get way more bang for your buck. I feel like, if you go to a football event, if you go watch Notre Dame College, as opposed to going to a boxing match, because if you're going to the game, you're gonna tailgate.
I'm trying to bring that to boxing. I'm trying to bring tailgating. I mean, it'll be a little bit of a higher risk, but not as bad as Dodger Stadium tailgating experience. But
I mean, it depends on the people who's fighting.
Soon, mark my words, for SoCal locals, some of these events will be coming your way. So you'll need to subscribe to the newsletter to be able to find out about them. But boxing TLDR tailgate events at places like they used to call it Home Depot Center, these StubHub, but now it's called Dignity Health Center in Carson. It's great spot for fights. Boxing TLDR brand will be hosting tailgates before the fights in the parking lot, and I'm looking forward to it. You should, if to be able to find out about events like this in the future, boxingtldr.com/subscribe. That's where you'll be able to get on the newsletter, join the community. You get a lot more than just the podcast. You get everything.
Everything.
Over there.
Question, follow-up. So Vegas is building a new stadium. I don't know if you knew this.
For the Raiders?
Raiders, and then one of the...
Is it going to be indoor? Is it going to be a dome?
I don't know if it's going to be... Probably because it's so fucking hot. That's what I would assume. Because... Anyway, one of the matchmakers for UFC was talking about, like, are you going to move... Because they're in the T-Mobile Arena right now.
Yeah, T-Mobile's been great. It's been hosting...
And they're like, are you going to move to the whatever? And they're like, no, but...
What's this matchmaker's name, by the way?
I don't remember. I don't remember which one was talking about it specifically. But he's like, no, but we can do bigger fight. Like when we get our huge cards, expect us to go there and house 65,000, right? Which would be pretty cool.
How many does T-Mobile have? Like 40-ish?
No, like 20.
Really?
18, 20, yeah, something like that.
Why did they build it so small? Well, I guess it was made for special events. It was made for boxing and
hockey,
concerts.
and because it's where the hockey team.
Oh, they're playing there now?
Yeah, that's where they've been playing. Anyway, I'm not bringing this up to talk about UFC. I'm bringing it up to ask you what boxing fight would be there that would get a full house.
Well,
2020 was it's going to be open. So do you think maybe that might be there?
Wilder Fury 2, yeah.
Do you think it might be there?
Oh yeah.
Because they want to be open 2020, and
Fury,
and they said they're not going to fight until 2020.
Think about it, because for Fury Wilder 1, it was here at Staples Center. I don't think I've ever seen Staples Center get sold out for boxing, but there was still a decent amount of Brits that traveled. But when you have a fight in Vegas, like that's part of the whole Vegas atmosphere, is that you make a trip out of it. God, I can't imagine how many people are going to be coming in from, boxing fans will be there. It's Vegas, but Americans will be there. But also they're going to have a huge amount of Brits. Dude, it's probably going to be like when McGregor fought in Vegas one of the time. I think they ran out of Budweiser at the MGM.
which is a huge. That's a big thing.
It's a big
in
deal.
Vegas.
So the same thing could happen. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think he's bigger than Ricky Hatton was, and people traveled in droves for Ricky Hatton back in the day, and it'll be fun. It'll be good for boxing, honestly.
No,
so I'm excited for that stadium. I forgot about the move for the Raiders to Vegas, but it'll be good for the rest.
No, I was just curious because that's when things become real big. I mean, when
I have a friend who's fighting at Mandalay Bay this weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they host fights there.
They still do, yeah. They had been known for fights more, in the last couple years back. MGM, Mandalay Bay, or whatever. This was before TNT or T-Mobile was built, but yeah, man, this is a big fight for him. His name is Luke Santa Maria. He's trains over at Capetillo's Boxing Academy in East LA. I've seen him fight a couple of times. I've seen him fight in TJ. He'd been waiting for a while to get out of a contract that he needed to wait out before he could start fighting in the U.S. again, and quickly stepping up into some big fights. He's fought on PBC cards and pulled off wins on those.
Cool.
Yeah, so
best of luck to him.
Yeah, so I mean it's a big venue, big place. First Vegas fight, I believe he may have fought one other time in Vegas.
What's the main card? What's the main event on that one?
I gotta look it up. Let me see.
It's not going to be as big as the next.
It's on Sunday night, so it's not like, I don't know how big of a show it is.
Well, we can talk about what's big this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to talk about Artem Lobov and Paulie Malignaggi. Malignaggi. I can't even pronounce his name. Too many G's, but not no.
Yeah.
Paulie.
It's
Paulie.
a mess.
That's what it is. Paulie.
It's a Dago name. Speaking of which, last night I actually went to Hollywood Bowl to see the Andrea Bocelli concert. It was quite an event. I took my nana there.
She had a good time?
She was so happy. She was singing all the songs that she knew. Cause
did you have wine with her?
I had a beer. I was trying to get fine wine, but I couldn't find it, so I just bought a beer instead. Bought my $18 beer. It's like highway robbery. But it was a good show. We had a good time. And
at the Hollywood Bowl?
Hollywood Bowl, yeah.
They have the best parking. I'm assuming you
Did you park there? Painful. So painful.
See, the Hollywood Bowl is the place where the best... It's either you show up early, you're the first car, or you're the last car, right?
Yeah. Actually...
Because they snake you all the way in.
You know what's actually amazing? Is it's a disaster to get, like, the last half mile to get to Hollywood Bowl is the hardest part of the journey. But what was actually amazing was how easy it was for me to get out of parking. I thought
it was the opposite.
You know how to get out of parking is like so tough at Dodger Stadium? Yeah, Hollywood Bowl, somehow it worked out for me where like I was like the last guy to park.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I had an easy exit.
You're either the
but getting, because
if you're in the middle, you're screwed.
Well, here's the problem is that like Dodger Stadium was built on a huge landmass, right? Even Staples Center, it's in a flat part of downtown. You do have parking structures, you do have freeways, you do have access, you have large city streets. Hollywood Bowl, it's much smaller, it's only 17,000 I think. But Hollywood Bowl is like tucked in the neck of the woods, and it's horrible.
Oh yeah, I know.
I hadn't been there
I never park at the Hollywood Bowl. I always park at like the Dolby Theater.
See, I didn't know to do this.
And then you just pay $10 or even less sometimes. And you just walk, and it's like less than a half a mile. You just walk. Yeah, I saw a lot of people walking. I wish I had planned, but I had just gotten back from Chicago yesterday, and then I was like, hey, today's the day we're going to the concert. So I didn't do any planning as I never do, but we made it to the show and it was awesome. And for those of you who don't know who Andrea Bocelli is, he's like the Italian Vicente Fernandez. So. And for those who aren't Mexican, don't know who that is.
Yeah,
he's like the Elvis Presley of Italy.
Elvis Presley of
right?
No, of Mexico. Oh, he's the Elvis Presley. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also a little bit of Stevie Wonder too, there. You know.
Because he's blind.
Yeah.
Not black. He's not black. Yeah.
Blind. So
you could have said Ray Charles. You could have said anybody that's blind.
Yeah, but Stevie Wonder's still alive, so that's why I said it.
Okay, that makes sense. But anyway, Paulie, so what interests you as a boxer?
So
like, what do you think's gonna happen?
So let's back up a little bit and talk about this fight because
Gian said he's gonna break his hand in the
he probably will.
Away.
Here's the deal. I like Paulie Malignaggi.
Because he has a huge history of breaking his hand fighting. So he's just gonna break his hand right away, and then it's not gonna be as interesting fight as people think.
I wanted to give you more info on that card at Mandalay Bay, but I actually can't find it right now, so that's fine. But let's talk about we have there's a couple of fights this weekend. They're all kind of smaller cards. The largest one ends up being that there's a boxer in it, but he's facing a MMA guy who honestly I would not want to be against in a bare knuckle fight. This is the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. They're on like their 6th show of the promotion. They've been gaining a lot of steam. This is probably their 2 biggest signings. I've been following them since their first show. They've exploded. Their Instagram page has totally exploded. You'll be able to watch it on pay-per-view. FITE.tv is one of the places you can find it. I think they're on other outlets on your smart TV.
Yeah, like Reddit.
I would not Reddit FightSportsStreams.com, whatever. But I'm rooting for Paulie Malignaggi because I liked him as a boxer. He was fun to watch. Also, a fellow Italian is kind of, there's a lot of that sort of that you.
Plus, he talks shit.
He talks shit, but honestly, he's got to screw loose, and I think he might be barking up the wrong tree sometimes. Let's think of how did we get here? Why did Paulie decide he has a great job working for Showtime as a fight commentator?
Well, he just recently said it's because of dumbass MMA fans that put him in this position.
Well, also
so he can prove to them that I know how to fight and I'll fuck him up.
Yeah, when he got knocked down in that
Connor
thing,
video.
he's got to prove that he still's got balls but he was never a puncher. He's a slick guy. He was a slick boxer. He wasn't a knockout artist. He wasn't necessarily a put your nose down and just bang it out. So, to be honest...
You think he's going to get his face smashed in?
To be honest, he's not my favorite boxer in a bare knuckle fight. You know what I mean?
So what do you think?
He's one of the smoothest white boxers as far as like the sweet science goes. But that's not what we're doing in this contest. If you watch, especially Arben Lovov, is that his name? He's one of the guys that he headlined the last show they had. He's a psychopath. Like, he's ready for bare knuckle boxing. If you will go on YouTube and look up bare knuckle FC or bare knuckle BKFC, not to be confused with that BKB, which was a promotion from a couple of years ago, and that was kind of silly. They branded themselves as like bare knuckle boxing in the mainstream. They were actually wearing gloves, but they had the knuckle part empty.
So it was bare knuckle?
So it's bare knuckle, but they had gloves on this part and glove on this part. They were wearing a smaller glove.
This is just wrap, right?
This is just straight up. They're not even allowing hand wraps in the traditional sense. They're just wrapping up to
their wrist,
up to thumb and wrist to make sure you don't break that. Let's face it, they're gonna break their hands anyway. But
that's why Gian said that Paulie's gonna break.
Paulie might break his hand
like immediately.
Honestly,
because
Paulie can't. He shouldn't go in and box this guy. If you were to go in and box this guy, he'd box him all day.
Well, he doesn't have gloves.
But this isn't gonna be boxing. If you watch on YouTube these fights, you literally have to go in there, throw a million punches, and never stop. There's no time for head movement. There's no time for boxing the guy.
Because you can only take so many punches to the face before you're just so bloody and pulpy.
And it's gonna be these guys' faces come out looking like they got off a cheese grater. You know.
This is what Paulie said. He said he's gonna knock the face off of Artem.
Right, but I want.
But you don't think that's gonna happen. You want him to win because he's the boxer. He's the boxer.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Man. And I've seen. Well, I guess here's the other deal. I've seen Artem fight in BK. I haven't seen Paula do it, so that's what makes me nervous.
Well, he's this great fighter. You got to put his money where his mouth is, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even understand why he's doing it other than pride.
It's pride. I don't think he's broke.
He has money.
Yeah.
And the bare knuckle can't be paying that much anyway.
Perhaps it's probably not that big. This is probably the biggest payout they've done.
What? Because this is probably what, 50 to 100,000.
No idea, dude. But it's not anywhere near the money he made in boxing. And let's also face it,
Showtime's paying him more.
He's doing a great job with Showtime, so he's not in a pinch. So this isn't one of these situations, perhaps like we saw with when one would wonder why Zab Judah was fighting. Perhaps
what's the best possible outcome?
He wins.
And then what does that mean for him? One and done, or he's gonna have a career in this?
He's probably gonna do another one.
Do you think his goal is to I'm gonna fuck up Artem and then Connor, let's go? Maybe not bare knuckle Connor, but anything with Connor. Do you think his end game?
Cool.
Do you think his end game is to go to Connor?
That'd be a better fight than that'd be better than Mayweather Connor.
So, well, I'm saying, do you think that's the end game for him? Maybe it's potentially
in the back of his mind
to get to Connor for the big payday. Let me take the shitty payday because if he fights Connor, he's gonna get paid. Connor is Floyd in terms of box office.
And Connor's kind of done. He's kind of done with the UFC.
He says he is.
But no. What I mean is financially he's done.
Oh yeah, he doesn't need.
Why would you do something at a tenth of the price that you did it last time?
Oh no, I know.
I would never. If I were Connor, I would never do anything.
Same reason why Paulie's going to fight now.
No. These are different things. If I was Conor McGregor, I would never fight UFC again because UFC can't pay me what I got paid to fight Floyd Mayweather.
I know.
So why would you do it?
You don't know.
Guess what? Because if you fight another Floyd type, whatever, the great thing about that was you weren't going to get kicked in the head. He's making 50 times more. I don't know what his biggest payday was in the UFC, but it was nowhere near the Mayweather money.
Let's just say it was 20.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was
never
20.
going to happen again. And there's a bunch of dudes in the UFC that can kick Conor's ass, as we saw. We saw Khabib kick his ass.
One dude. So.
But there are guys that can give him a lick.
Oh yeah, no, I know, and people want to see
that
him
won't
fight.
carry him. That won't carry him the way
But
Floyd carried him.
he might. I mean, you don't know how it's all going to play out because at the end of the day, these guys are fighters, and that's literally what they were born to do. That's what they got them there to the show. That's what they like.
Yeah.
They have pride.
That's what's scary about Lobov, is that dude doesn't care about a broken face.
I know you saw his last fight.
He saw his last fight,
terrible.
and he's already back in it again.
Now, what's the worst possible outcome besides Paulie dying? Like literally something.
Broken eye socket.
Not him dying. Maybe.
I'm a little worried. This sport, I'm a little worried about the pokes in the eye. I'm not so worried about brain damage because I don't think these. We haven't had a long enough time to study this, but if you're sparring with gloves and you're getting hit numerous times, I think it's actually worse than for brain health than getting knocked out early in one of these. Because you're getting knocked out early in one of these bare knuckle punches, you're actually probably safer than taking 12 rounds of punishment.
I agree, but let's be honest. Paulie might be taking this fight because of all the years of boxing.
Oh, because he's a little bit nuts now? Because he's punchy? Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what the best possible outcome for him, and then what the worst possible outcome for him is.
Probably a broken eye socket,
And then he won't fight ever again if he loses.
Then I hope not.
Not even Conor. Well, that would just throw that out the window.
That would throw that out the window. There would be no reason for that. Because that wouldn't even be a big enough payday to get Conor out of bed.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see them fight in the boxing. I'd want to see Conor fight.
I don't think Conor gets out of bed for a $1 million fight.
I think Conor could just go into boxing if he really wanted to. Not start from like fighting big guys, but start from a lower circuit and work his way up.
Yeah, he could probably get signed by MTK or something.
I think he could have a career in boxing and make money.
Yeah.
I mean,
he should probably start with a couple fights over there.
Who knows? I'm just saying.
We got some big fights in Ireland this weekend. Actually, they're not. It'll be on ESPN Plus, but not the main event. But these are guys that I'm excited for this fight because both of these guys they're lesser known, but I enjoy watching them on social media. We got Tyrone McKenna fighting against Dara Foley, and if you want to have some entertainment, follow the two Tyrones on Instagram. Tyrone McKenna and Tyrone McCullough. They train together. They're total clowns. That they do pranks all the time on social media. And we've talked about this before on this podcast, but part of your job as a pro boxer with some notoriety in 2019 is you got to be a self promoter, and honestly, that's why I'm tuning into this fight. So
that's.
I mean, they're it's gonna be fun to watch. They're both. I think both of these guys get hit. Like, I don't think Tyrone comes out of fights often even though I think he's still undefeated. Even though he comes out winning, I don't think he comes out of fights untouched.
He comes out of
and
he earns his W's.
Foley has also been in some battles, and
we'll have to watch it.
Kind of enjoy.
What time is the fight gonna be at? Because that has to be probably a replay fight for me.
It's gonna be
because at 5 p.m. I'll be at Bare Knuckle Boxing. That's for sure. Well, actually, I'll be working.
This is a Friday fight.
Oh, it's Friday.
So Saturday is the biggest fight of the Saturday. Will actually be the Bare Knuckle.
Well, there you go. Now you can watch too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So there's also another a DAZN fight on. I won't spend too much time talking about it, but it's
yeah, Bellator's this weekend too. There's a UFC. There's a lot of fights this weekend. There's a lot of good fights actually.
In three different sports, man. We got
UFC,
we got MMA, we got boxing.
Bare Knuckle boxing is the biggest fight of the.
Isn't that funny? The Bare Knuckle, I
don't think it's funny at all. I think it's amazing. I think it's great.
I think it's good. Yeah.
It's great for fighting.
And what's also neat about it is that it's bringing two guys from the other two sports And they're
Into
both
a brand new
biggest show,
sport.
brand new sport. We got the boxer and the martial artist, and we're putting them in.
It's like watching UFC in its heyday, except for they're fighting like, it's like a street fight. Really, yeah. It's just a street fight in the, like it's not a. There's no jujitsu. There's no other. It's not a martial arts sport per se.
And you gotta love this build up. Like if you watch the two of these guys hate each other,
spitting on each other.
Oh God!
I mean.
Just
I'm
yesterday,
sold.
Artem
sold.
Yeah.
What did Artem do? I didn't even know what he did.
Oh, he just gave just a spitfire of an interview, calling Molly a scumbag and just all this stuff. And Molly kind of did. Paulie, I don't know why I'm saying Molly. Oh, Malignaggi. Molly is his sister, Molly Malignaggi. He's Paulie. Yeah, he spit, he slapped, he did all that stuff, but he's selling this fight. And
he's going to get Artem paid because I guarantee you they're getting points on the pay-per-view. That's how they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
How many sales they get.
They're helping this promoter. I don't even know this promoter's name, but this promoter's just brought this sport up. He's on his 6th show under this promotion.
I hope it continues to do bigger.
And they're bringing it to a big level. This will be the biggest show, bringing it to. You're gonna see this for people that hadn't known about this. They'll be finding this on YouTube on Monday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
And
it's finding us on Facebook on Monday.
And
on
it's
Twitter
gonna be bloody and violent.
Yeah.
Because if it's anything less,
and it's gonna be on ESPN. They're gonna say, "Oh, this needs to stop."
I don't even know if it's gonna be on ESPN.
No. What I mean is they're gonna
they're gonna cover it.
The after take will be we need to stop this human cockfighting. Whatever. Yeah, they might be right, but you're gonna tune in.
Oh no, we're past that now.
We're past that
because the UFC is.
We're watching live league videos for entertainment.
Been there, done. UFC's been there, done that with UFC, and they're probably fighting on an Indian reservation anyway.
I think so.
So they don't have anything. They're fucked. We live in the age of the internet. So as long as people keep tuning in, that's continue to be big. And once you're on the Native American lands,
Is it
There's no John McCain.
Is it inhumane? That's a different conversation, man. These are two fighters.
Because you know why?
I don't care. What I'm saying is I don't care. These are two fighters that
they're
fighters. They're willingly doing it.
That's all. That's it.
Well, one could make the argument that Paulie's punch drunk and this, and that's
still his own choice.
It's his own.
He's
choice.
an adult.
He's an adult,
and people pay to go watch it, or maybe some people don't pay. Like me,
You're not paying.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But the last thing I want to talk about today, if you have any other topics, let me know. But this was a little bit of a fun one that actually, I just watched a video and it actually could be more plausible than fun. So I don't know if you heard about Justin Bieber challenging Tom Cruise to a fight. And I thought, ha ha, this is a joke, whatever, blah, blah, blah. TMZ interviewed Dana White yesterday. Or maybe it was like a day or two ago. And Dana was like, oh, it's funny you mentioned that because I've actually been talking to people who've been talking to Tom's people. And they're like dead fucking serious about putting them in the ring together. And Dana said, if Tom is game and this is real, then we'll talk.
I believe it.
Because if we got Conor and Floyd to fight, which I never thought would happen.
Right. I believe that it could happen. And I do believe that it could happen and that Justin Bieber will be in the octagon or in the ring, whatever it ends up happening. I mean, this is 2019. That was last year even. We got the crazy thing that we didn't think was going to happen for like 4 years. We got Floyd and Conor to fight. Should it have happened? Was it a joke? Was it a show?
Yes, no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But here's the deal.
It does matter because
we got Logan Paul to get 2 million people to whatever tune into that, like crazy numbers. So this is.
Did you watch the Conor fight?
I did. I didn't pay for that.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
And Trevor probably watched it too, right?
Yeah.
And the fucking and everybody else that he knows watched the fight too.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You're right. We're on the same point here.
You all can shut the fuck up about this whole thing being bad.
No. What I'm saying is, I do think that
y'all watch the fight.
This will happen. Justin Bieber will probably fight. I just don't know that it will be Tom Cruise.
No,
but I think Justin Bieber will be in the ring.
But Dana's words were not, "Oh, I've been talking to Justin's people."
Yeah,
it's Tom's people.
If Justin Bieber wants to fight me, a no-name with a huge podcast, I would love that. That'd be great for my career.
Now,
I want to fight
my
Justin
question,
Bieber.
The reason why I brought that up
I will fight Justin Bieber or Logan Paul. I've never lost to a white boy, and I never will.
What does this do to the UFC if they have this fight? Nothing? Do you think it tarnishes the brand? Do you think it cheapens the sport?
We have a
Because that has to be the main event of any card, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Don't know. And it doesn't matter. Ask Dana White. But
would you see the
we
fight?
have
Would
The
you watch
Apprentice
the
is now
fight?
the president, and Justin Bieber might be a UFC world champion. That's just how things are going right now.
No, but stick to the fight. I mean, let's be realistic. Justin Bieber, Tom Cruise are not going to be the world champions of anything. Let's be realistic. That's not going to happen.
The WBC will make him a fake ass belt.
I'm talking about MMA. They're talking
Make
about
him the pro
MMA.
belt,
This is not a boxing. This is MMA.
Yeah.
They're going to fight in the ring.
They're going to fight in MMA or they're going to fight in boxing?
MMA. That's why Dana White's been in this conversation.
But Dana White's doing boxing promotions now.
But this is MMA.
Okay.
They've been talking about it in the octagon.
Does Tom Cruise know how to do jiu-jitsu?
He might. Tom Cruise is a fucking freak. He is. He does all his own stunts still, and that's a big deal. People think, oh, that's... Watch any Mission Impossible movie, and you see the motherfucker hanging without wire work from a plane. Yeah. That's a big... I mean, you gotta... And then...
Yeah, maybe he does.
But I'm saying...
It'd be great.
Does that devalue the sport? Because now it's just...
A little bit, but everyone's
because people gave shit to Dana White about CM Punk fighting.
Because he lost. But if he had won, no one would.
He lost twice. But he was just like, he'd never fought before. He didn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
He was on the main card. He wasn't the main event, but he was on the main card, so he like leapfrogged everybody.
If it were me as a boxing purist or whatever, as a guy who's been in the ring for $800 before, I would say CM Punk, respect you, but you should fight in the smaller shows before you ever get to UFC. It's unfair that you got to
He's still
UFC
trying.
right away.
He's still trying to.
But I understand that if you can make the money talks, and that it doesn't matter.
So what's the over/under to you? Do you think it's gonna happen?
I think it'll happen.
Tom Cruise and Justin Bieber.
As long as the money's there, as long as Tom's game, I know that Bieber will be in the ring or the octagon at some point because he has enough interest to do so, and Dana White wants him there and he wants to be there. It will happen. But if Tom wants to do it, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. This is easier to happen than Floyd.
That's what Dana's like. He's like, this would be the easiest.
I didn't know
This would be the easiest fucking fight promotion I'd ever have.
You know why? Because this is show business. These are two guys.
It's prize fighting. It's prize fighting.
And Dana White knows how to put a card together.
I would watch it, and
I would watch it on Reddit.
I would watch it. I would watch it. I'd be there.
On YouTube
full support.
Red?
I want to see. Dude, why wouldn't you? It's like Celebrity Deathmatch, but in real life.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that show. That was like a Beavis and Butthead era show, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming back, or maybe it did come back. Either way, I just thought it'd be interesting to hear your take on these two people fighting that.
Yeah, I think it should happen.
Arguably don't deserve to be fighting.
No.
On the main stage like that.
But you know what it does do? It'll get people to want to sign up for the lessons and get punched. Because we already have a bunch of fitness classes going on. But I want to see people get in there and take a punch in the face. Everyone needs a punch in the face.
Whatever about that. We're talking about the fight though, because I don't think watching Tom Cruise whoop ass or get his ass whooped is gonna make people want to get in the ring.
Why not?
Why would it?
He can do it. I can do it too. He's a pretty boy. I can do it.
So, but that's only if Tom Cruise spanks his ass.
But there's also a bunch of little kids, a bunch of believers are gonna think, oh, I can do this.
I don't know. I don't think Justin.
I'm just an advocate for more people getting smacked in the face. That's all I want. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to grow the sport. And I want the next champion to get inspired by Justin Bieber. I want the Justin Bieber fan to get punched in the face, and I think that will be good for us.
As you say, everyone should get punched in the face at least once.
I know you have some interest in UFC. I want you to get.
No, I don't.
Just spar.
No.
It's good for you.
So if Justin Bieber and Tom Cruise fight, and it goes down, and Tom Cruise mollywops Justin Bieber, what does that do to Tom Cruise's star power?
Amplifies it. He'll be with The Rock. It'll be The Rock and Tom Cruise for the next 5 summers. You know what I mean? He's already a star, but he'll just get way more credit, and he'll be.
Could you imagine the memes, of Tom Cruise? Like if Tom Cruise taps Justin Bieber and submits him, or ground and pounds Justin Bieber, how happy Justin Bieber like haters would be.
Yeah. And
But,
then
what
it'll
about
be
the inverse?
Bieber and Drake next. Oh. Canadian Trailer Park Boys.
Well, it could. I mean,
Celebrity Deathmatch.
the fight would be Bieber and the Logan Paul.
Yeah. That'd be boxing now.
I don't know. I'm just saying we're getting into a weird space now where MMA is acceptable in the public. Is it as big as boxing yet? No, but I think it could be. It's still a 20-year-old sport. There's no reason to believe that in 50 years, UFC, or MMA, not UFC, we're assuming UFC will be top dog, but MMA will not be bigger than boxing. I think it will be.
Honestly, I don't see that.
I don't think boxing going away. I don't see boxing going away.
Yeah.
But I see them being, it's Saturday night, so-and-so's fighting boxing card, and you have a UFC card competing, you're going to have people like tuning out of boxing to go watch, and maybe vice versa.
It might already be happening, it's already happening, but it's happening with a certain demographic.
I'm just saying.
I like buddies my age that are just sports fans that are in this demo of 18 to 30 already are onto MMA. But there's a boxing market.
Yeah, but that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing, what you just said.
I know. I'm trying to change
that's the
that.
generation.
That's why I started boxing TLDR.
If you lose the 18 to 30 demographic, you're gonna die out.
Like what happened to baseball.
Baseball is still just as strong as it was, in my opinion. The only issue is
the young audience is gone.
No, people love. No, that's. I don't think that's.
You don't think so?
No, what I think it is you have market controlled environments where it's like the Dodger Network, and no one broadcasts anyone. It's super tribal.
It is.
So like.
Yeah. It's all
Dodger fans care about Dodger games, not the Rockies.
And I've written about that. I've written articles about that for Boxing TLDR. The hardest part is that for boxing, we can only sell stars. We don't have. If Canelo were to retire next year,
boxing would be in a tough spot.
De La Hoya would be in a tough spot because he has to rebuild somebody.
No, boxing would be in a tough spot.
Right. But my point is that we don't have that team aspect. Because next year we could trade half our team. You and I will still be a little bit interested in seeing who the new team is next year for the Dodgers.
That's why it should be Golden Boy versus Top Rank or some shit.
I don't know about that much.
Why not?
There have been leagues like
that's
that.
Teams.
There was the LA Matadors and the
there's no unification in boxing. That's why. That's what it is.
It's a one-man sport.
Because you don't see the same fighters fighting each other.
Oh, but what I was getting to is that's why we have this sense of nationalism. Puerto Ricans will always have because there's no teams in boxing. The team is you're gonna root for
your country.
A Mexican. You're gonna what?
Your country.
Your country. Yeah. That's how this works, and that's
what's keeping it alive.
That's what's keeping it alive. Well, that's always the way it's been.
I know.
It was Italians versus Irish back in the day. It was Polish versus Irish.
UFC has that too.
Yeah,
but
they also they had a better job with their brand.
They're under an umbrella.
Yeah, the UFC brand has done a better job promoting the entire brand.
And it's going to be more interesting when like Bellator's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And the Scott Croker, the CEO of Bellator, said like, I'm open for like cross promotional super fights. Which is going to be better for the sport anyway.
It'll be better for the sport, but who knows if UFC is going to want, because they're going to be like, whoa.
They've done it before. Are
you on our level? Oh, really?
Yeah, they've done it before. Just in previous times.
Uh-huh.
Companies that they ended up eventually buying.
Buying out, like WBC,
Strike Force. Yeah, they bought, but they did cross promotions and they like traded fighters.
It was a pre-acquisition test run.
Something like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is a good note to end on. I don't know if you concur or not. 2019 is a great time for fighting.
Yeah.
Whether it's boxing, MMA, bare knuckle boxing. I mean, you have, because right now ESPN owns, or they're in a deal with UFC, and they have a Top Rank, and they have a Pride fight. Like they have some PFL, I think it's called, like another league where they do like this. It's more of like an actual.
Oh, is it the one league?
No, that's China. That's different.
Okay.
But no,
that's interesting though.
They have like this. They have like this tournament thing where it's like $1 million, and it's like this. It's another MMA thing.
Okay,
but it's ESPN promotion. And then you already mentioned Top Rank.
Bellator's invested with DAZN.
DAZN is huge right now, so you're getting all these different fights for cheaper.
Most importantly, and this is the part that the businessmen don't control as much, but most importantly, the heavyweight division is live and well, which means overall boxing is live and well.
When heavyweights are doing well, boxing,
people will tune in.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. 2019, I think that's a good note to end on. 2019 is a great time to be alive for fighting in general, because you can talk shit. Oh, Conor Floyd, blah, 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 it was a.
But you're gonna tune in for Fury. You're gonna turn in for Wilder.
I guarantee you that fight generated buzz to get people to watch Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Andy Ruiz is birds in the scene, and people are inspired because people are like,
podcast. You have podcasts talking about all this shit.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's a big fucking. I guarantee you, he's a big push to some of these things.
Once it crosses into mainstream, it helps too. You know?
So I like. It's a good team. It's a good time to be alive.
As much as I hate the Colin Cowherds of the world and all those jackoffs,
but they help.
When they're talking about boxing, it does help us out because
they're talking about UFC
the main guys
and that's the thing.
Into.
ESPN is king.
Yeah.
The moment they signed that deal with UFC and Top Rank too, because this Top Rank gave us the Pacquiao fight, even though I still feel like Pacquiao beat the Australian dude. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pacquiao's still going strong.
Hey, Pacquiao is having a. We got to end this, but Pacquiao and Thurman in a future episode we'll go into that. That's gonna be a great card. I'm excited for that one.
Because if he beats
Keith Thurman, what's the welterweight division gonna do? Because then it's gonna be like, hey, we don't need to put Bud Crawford against him.
See,
and he's not gonna. And Pacquiao's too small for Spence, so then they're not gonna fight. But I want to consolidate that division because the welterweight division is such a special.
You never know.
Yeah. Well,
that's the thing. Pacquiao's 55,000 years old now, and he's still fighting.
He's 40.
No, he might as well be ancient right now as a boxer, because the only other boxer who's fought like him,
plenty, dude. Well,
Bernard Hopkins
was like 52 when he retired.
No, I'm saying in recent memory.
Yeah.
But who's fighting at his level?
Having a strong enough twilight period.
I don't think but that's the thing. I don't think Pacquiao ever really dipped.
Well, he
got knocked out. Yeah. He lost twice. Right?
In recent,
after not losing for a long
streak,
35,000 years, winning all the belts.
I have to refer to the box rec for yeah. You guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Next time, we're gonna have another episode. Trevor will be here. If you guys have enjoyed this podcast at all, please share it with a friend. You can share it within the iTunes app. You can hit share and send it via text to somebody. That's one of the ways I love sharing shows. I like other shows I consume. If you're listening to this on YouTube, watching this on YouTube, please hit a like, hit a subscribe to the channel. The channel's Boxing TLDR. That's where we're having our Monday morning show, which is a YouTube show. That's where we're having the visual component of this podcast, where you can see. And please leave us a review on iTunes, and we'll see you guys next time.